Hey gang, welcome back. Episode 29 of Zero Carb Journal. I'm Matt, and happy Sunday, you guys. Thanks so much for watching and listening and all your comments and support as always. Really appreciate it. So, hey guys, how you doing? Hey, it's Sunday morning. It's kind of late. I've been sleeping in a little bit, but it's like coming up on 7:30 or so, and here I am. Nice to see you guys. So, how was your week? I had a great week, you guys. I had a really good one. I'm just going to jump right into it. I think I'm going to make it quick again today. I'll catch you up on where I'm at and tell you why and all that. And then, anyways, we'll take it from there. So, this week was really good, you guys. I had a great one from a zero carb perspective. I had a great one from a personal work and all that perspective, and feeling good. So, first off, I've been heading towards trying to finish out this dang contract that I thought was going to be done a month ago. And you guys, it's done. So I got called back in last weekend, actually. I think I might have told you I got called in last weekend. The boat that I had been working on for the last few months was getting ready to deliver. They were finally ready for me to wrap up my final tasks. So I spent Monday and Tuesday down there on the water. Went for a boat ride, fixed some stuff. It was actually nice. It was great to hang out with the guys one last time. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We wrapped it up. It felt really good to see it go away. So it left on Wednesday, and I took a day and did some firewood and warmed myself out again, got my chainsaw out and kept going on my firewood, and I started feeling a little bit free. Started getting the zoomies, like running around the yard and feeling like it was time to break free. And, I had one more commitment I needed to take care of, and that was this other boat builder who's been really hammering for some time from me. And so I had let him know that I would tell him when I was finally available. So I did. I emailed him on Wednesday and let him know that my contract was up and I was wide open. And, he had a hot boat going there, 2 of them actually. And so I went right back to it, and I got back to work in a third shop. Now, again, I hadn't worked for, excuse me, sorry, just waking up here. I hadn't worked for a few years, so as I was going back to these shops, it's the first time I've seen these people for quite a while. So this was the third shop then that I hadn't worked in for, almost 3 years now. He'd been calling me quite a few times, and I'd been turning down work when I was really ill. And then, as I said, I was busy this last few months, so I finally got some time. So I went back in there, and it felt awesome, you guys, to get back into another shop. And once again, I was able to really make a difference for them, I think. They were under the gun. They had customers there, boats hoping to be delivered over the weekend. So I ended up working 10 hours on Friday and 8 on Thursday for them, and Saturday. Did I work yesterday? And a little bit yesterday. And it was great, you guys. It felt so good. A whole nother crew that I hadn't seen for a while. Some good old friends in there. And, I had another great zero carb interaction. One of my friends in there, who was someone who I'd always been pretty close with when we worked together, but, then I don't see him for a few years. But he let me know he'd been struggling. He was up to like 260. And he would go down. He said, the last 3 years he'd been back down to 180 and back up to 260 again. He'd done that like 2 or 3 times since I've seen him. He's a young guy. He's like 23 or 24. And so, he was asking me about what I'd been doing, and because he had known that I'd been starting to get fit the last time we started talking, and they were aware that I'd been sick. And so I told him what I had done, and he said, "What'd you do to fix it?" And I, smiled and laughed, and he goes, "Is it a secret?" And I go, "No, it's just pretty weird. It's hard to believe, but I only eat meat, And I told him a little bit about zero carb, and boy, his ears perked right up, and he was like, yeah, I've been thinking about trying the keto thing. It seems like it's the hot thing." And he goes, "But boy, that sounds a lot better for me. That's right up my alley." So, I'm hoping that, keep my fingers crossed, maybe there's another person that I could have, hopefully have steered in a path that'll give them some relief and help them on a path that'll help them learn what works for them. So you guys know that's my number one goal, and it feels so good, especially when it's someone like that who I really, enjoy and care about and think is a great person and in someone in my life. So anyways, that felt great, you guys. It felt so good to get into another shop and to be appreciated. I got a lot of kudos there. The old shipwright there, who can be a crotchety old dude and is real meticulous and a real skilled craftsman. He pulled me aside and was just like, "Thank goodness you're here." He goes, "I can just leave you alone without looking over your shoulder, tell you what to do. I know it's done right." He goes, "I just haven't had that for years." And he complained about some of the other guys he was working with a little bit, not really, but just kind of let me know that he appreciated me. And it felt great, you guys. It felt really good. So, not gonna lie, I got in there and I was like, oh, more of this. I'm so ready to be done. But I'll tell you what felt great was getting in there, being appreciated, helping them complete their projects, and finishing them. And I got right down to it, and we wrapped them up, and those boats left, or they're leaving on tomorrow, but they didn't need my help anymore. We got right down to where they were done with wiring, and they have nothing but welding on the floor for another month or so. No, they're not gonna be ready for wiring for a while. Same with the big shop I was just at. So you guys, I dug in so hard, and it was so hard to get here, but I am done. All of the boats in my town at the moment are wired and finished. So that's it. I'm free. I'm off for a little while. So this last week was good. It put me ahead just a little bit. My credit card is going to be 0,000. My goal of, I was sitting here thinking about it. So at the end of my 90 days, as you guys know, this last week has been a break week for me. I didn't take a break because I was working. I did take a break from working out. As I told you guys last week, I overdid it. I made myself ill. And it was the end of my 90-day cycle, the end of a hard workout cycle. So I haven't done any workouts this week, just working on the boats, and I did that far more than I thought I was going to. I ended up putting in 40 plus hours this week, and then did some firewood. But it's basically been my break week and my 90-day goals, so I kind of just sort of have been reflecting. And my work is done. The work I did got me to hit my goals of my last 90 days, and not just my last 90-day goals, but you guys, these are the goals I've been working towards for 2 or 3 years, starting with my health 3 years ago when I started writing down goals for the first time. I started writing them down about 3 years ago, and I started working out at the same time. So that's kind of the beginning of my path, was really August of whatever that was, 3 years ago, 2015, I guess. So here I am at the beginning of a 90-day goals period, and you guys, my health is better than it's ever been. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I've still got some issues, but I'm well on track. My fitness goals, I haven't hit my specific goals, but I like the way I look for the first time ever. I like my body composition. I like how clothes fit me. I am getting close to where I want to be. I'm seeing immense progress, and it feels amazing. My number one goal outside of my fitness and health was sustainable financial independence at home. Now, that's been written down on a piece of paper, like I said, for over 3 years now, probably. And while I'm not 100% sure I'm there yet, I've cleared out this debt that I've had for a while now. I've built myself this shack, and I've rented out my house, and I've got my monthly mortgage and stuff covered with that. I've got my plans and my stove business rolling along at a fairly steady clip. And you guys, I'm pretty much there. I'm not entirely there. I'm not out of the woods. I could still easily find myself slipping back into debt if I don't generate some income. But I'm really close, and I got a feeling as the next few months unfold, with a little bit of intermittent work, but some time to focus on my own projects and things like that, I'm going to find out whether or not I'm just kind of cruising along here. And I'm so excited, you guys. It feels so good. So I'm sitting here. Today's Sunday, starting a new 90-day round. I'm going to be writing down my new goals. And thanks to a lot of input from you guys and a lot of reflection, and thanks to a lot of hard work these last few years, and thanks to losing consciousness last week and realizing I need to take it easy, I think I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write down, my goals, and I think most of it's going to be to give myself a break and to get back to a little bit more fun stuff. Now, I'm not financially, stable yet, and I really just have zero funds. So I just am only able to, I'm just generating barely what I need each month, if even that. I never know where next month's rent is coming from. It's always been like that, as it were. I mean, the rent obviously is coming from my renters, but you know what I mean. Figure of speech there. So I'm not quite in the free and clear yet, but I am more than I have been ever. And so this next 90 days, I think I'm going to dedicate to, I've got some stuff around here to do. I definitely have to get 4 cords of firewood or so up before the summer's out, and I need to stay on fencing a little bit. So I got firewood and fencing. But the big dogs are gone, as I've told you. I've just got my little guy, so I can actually leave. My finances are pretty good, so I'm not buried. So yeah, I think I'm going to focus on some other stuff, you guys. Thanks very much to you. So Sarah, you were saying one of the things I need to write down is meeting a woman. Boy, I'm really bad at that. I'll come back around to that. I just have zero confidence in that regard. But it's true. I need to meet people and socialize in general, let alone, maybe trying to find a partner so I'm not lonely or whatever. So I'm definitely going to be putting that on the list, but that's going to be part and parcel of really just getting out, socializing more, hopefully surfing a lot more, riding my bike more, playing guitar more, doing things for me. I used to only do those things. And of course, everything I've been doing has been for me, but I used to only do those sorts of things. And lately I've really come back around to focusing on my goals and putting myself on track. And somehow now I need to get back to finding some balance between the two. I've never had a balance between those two. It was always strongly to one side or the other. But so I need to learn how to do that because I've really neglected a lot of this stuff. And so one part of that's going to be making videos for you guys. That's one of the hobbies I really want to put time into. I'm pretty inspired and interested, and I'm a beginner, so it's fun for me to learn about that stuff. And I want to start driving around. I got this electric car. It doesn't cost really anything to go places if I have time, and I do have time. So I want to start rolling around, and I think if I have, some weeks off, I'm going to do that. So in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to hopefully go visit my family, go hang out with my mom and dad at their retirement place, and try and get my sister and brother down there as well to spend some time. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely go surfing. I'm going to definitely get together with some friends and hang out. And yeah, all that feels really good. So that's me moving forward, you guys. It feels great. Let's talk a little bit about zero carb. I got some things I'd like to touch on there. So my week in food was good. It was boring as always. Been keeping it pretty much strictly to hamburgers. Last Sunday I got bored, decided I was going to treat myself, and I went out rolling around town seeing what I could find. And I ended up going to Wendy's, which doesn't sound like much of a treat, but when you haven't been out and you haven't been able to eat much, it was exciting. I hadn't done any fast food. Well, when I went to San Diego, I did quite a bit, but I hadn't done Wendy's, and I hadn't done any local fast food. I had never tried Wendy's. I didn't know if they did it. So I went here, and sure enough, $1.29 a pound. Actually, first I went to our local, we have a little burger chain here, a little drive-through that's sort of a local one. And I tried them, and they were going to charge the same price as a whole burger. So I backed out of their drive-through and went to Wendy's, and $1.29, I got 4 burgers. And, they were pretty good. They kind of upset my tummy, I'm not going to lie. So it's not something I'm going to do, just on a whim regularly. But definitely, if I need food when I'm out and about, in town, whatever, on a road trip, I think I'll definitely take advantage of it. I enjoyed them. It didn't mess my tummy up terribly. I just could kind of taste like French fry oil on there or something. And a little later, I was a little bit gurgly, as it were. But it was fun. So that was nice. Odd that that's a treat, but it is when you just cook the same meal for yourself at home every day. It's nice to break out of that cycle. Other than that, for the most part, I stuck real close to I didn't do anything different. I just ate my 2 pounds of beef. I'm still, kind of losing weight. down to 138 now. Tried on my wedding suit and I got back into those pants and they fit perfect. So I'm going to continue to cut for a few more weeks just because well, it's the right thing to do for me right now to hit my goals. I want to get down to a low weight so I can start eating with abandon again, and try and add some more muscle. So, and I'm not going to go crazy next time around. I'm going to come back to some kind of maintenance program. I don't think I'll weigh and measure, but I do think I'll weigh myself. I won't weigh and measure my food, but I'll weigh myself and try and maintain, don't think I'll let myself gain weight quite so quickly this next time around. And somewhere in the mid 130s seems to be where I'm comfortable. That when I got up to 145 there, I had added an inch or two to my waist and I didn't care for that. So, yeah, so moving forward, I think I'll probably try and maintain somewhere around here. But anyways, food-wise, kept it pretty simple, kept my meal volume, the size down to 2 pounds. Had a little bit of hunger. I definitely could eat more, but it hasn't been too hard or too terrible. And as always, one thing I love about this way of eating is how easy it is for me to meet my goals on these cycles. It's just so simple to do this mini cut. 2 weeks, I'm already down 7 pounds or whatever and fitting in my pants and without too much struggle, hardship, agony, agonizing over details. It's just great. So zero carb, even from just that perspective, is fantastic. So stayed the course all week, and then yesterday I had a little bit of pulled pork that I pulled out of my freezer. It was delicious. I felt great. No worries. So feeling good, you guys. Feeling really good. And I had another awesome zero carb success experience, I guess I'd call it. I had a phone call from an old friend, and if you're watching, man, thanks so much for reaching out. It made me feel so good to hear from you and to hear that you're working on addressing some of the issues you and I both know that you've had for a long time. And so, yeah, guys, I had a really good friend call, and he's someone who I've shared gastro problems with over the years. He's lived with me a few times, and I consider him family. He's like a brother to me. And we've talked about what I've been doing a little bit a year ago, I think, but he'd been on his own path, and finally he called me, and he'd been making changes. He had some bad moments, and he's ready to fix or at least address, what's been going on in his life really forever, just like I was. He's always had spent a lot of time in the bathroom and had problems, and just like I was sort of like knew that he was sick but in denial because we were pretty high functioning sick dudes, pro athletes and that kind of thing. So it's hard to say, oh, I'm sick. We just sort of let it, well, I won't speak for him, but I just sort of accepted it and moved on and said, I'm not that sick. I'm not really sick. I'm just different or whatever. So anyways, he called and said he had been making some changes and he'd seen some of these videos. So maybe you're watching this one, buddy, and I won't say your name, but I hope you are and I hope you're feeling good. And that felt awesome, you guys. It felt really good that as I said earlier, to be able to make a difference, to be able to be a source of information and inspiration, and hopefully be here and just be an example. I'm really still working on that old tenet that I said in one of the early episodes. I'm just trying to set an example of what's possible by living this life, because it's so strange, right? You can't just eat meat. We all know that's not healthy, and you can't just eat cheap meat. You got to eat grass-fed and, ground beef and no organs and all these things that I do that kind of go against all of the things that we would expect. So, I'm feeling really, really thankful that I have had this, a couple years now or whatever head start, and that I am firmly committed and firm in my faith that this is the right thing, and that I'm healthier than I've ever been, because I feel like I can set an example to people that matter to me. And so it felt really good to get that phone call. It felt really good to talk to my friend and to hear that he's making some changes and starting to, already he hadn't even done a full day of carnivore, but he was really close. He'd done 2 days of damn close with some berries or something like that, and he was already noticing exceptional, amazing differences in his bathroom time and all that. So I know you're going to have success, my friend, and it's going to be hard the first few weeks. Excuse me. So stay the course and it'll pay off. So anyways, from my perspective, you guys, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling so blessed, and I'm so thankful. I am so grateful to be able to be an influence on these people, the fella at work and my family, and friends, and it feels really good. I just, like I said, when I learned about this a few years ago, I just, felt like I was turned away at every turn, and in the real world, I really felt like people just judged and thought I was nuts. Come to find out, that isn't really the case. My people, even if they think that down deep, they tend to speak to me as if they have an open mind, and are very supportive and loving and caring, and it's been quite a path, quite a journey. So, anyways, I'm more grateful than I've been in a long time, you guys, which is saying a lot, because I'm always grateful. So I've let a lot of stuff slide. I'm not doing daily check-ins. I'm not getting on Twitter these days, and I'm feeling like I'm sort of restructuring and getting ready for my next phase, and I'm not sure what that is, but it's going to be a little different. Like I said, my goals, I'm at a point where I'm sort of hit these goals I've been focused on for the last 3 years. So it's time to sort of hunker down and restructure and give myself some new challenges. Sarah, I think yours is a great one. That's going to be one that's difficult for me, and I've spent 3 years banging my head against the wall to get here, so I can handle a hard challenge. So I think you're right. I need to focus, need to work. I'll need to put some work in. So, I can do that. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to restructure, change my deal up a little bit. I'm going to change my workouts up a bit. I'm going to try and leave some in the tank for some other pursuits. So figure out a way to get to a maintenance level, still move forward on some physical goals. I still want to get that front lever. I still want to get that muscle up. And I'll tell you, my front levers are really good, you guys. I think I'm actually really close. So I'm not going to back down too far, but I'm going to not overdo myself like I did last week. And I'm going to recognize that I like how I look and that I want to do some other stuff. And so I'm going to prioritize, trying to figure out a way to make those workouts short and sweet and just a part of my daily life. And, figure out some ways to stay positive and broadcast my positivity to the world, and in a way that works for me for the long term. Yeah, so I don't know what exactly that means, but just that I'm restructuring, making some changes. I'm at a good place. I've made some headway, and I'm reflecting and figuring out the next step. So, trying to remember some of your other comments. I haven't really looked at the computer much this last week at all. I was really just slam. So, I'll have to get back on there and see where you're at. But in the coming weeks, you guys, I hope to be sharing some lifestyle videos. I'm going to bring this camera around with me and hopefully have some days to get out and do some things that aren't just work, or fence work or firewood or whatever else. So we'll see how that goes. So anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. Looks like it's, been a good little chat here. And next time I come back next week, I'm hoping that I'll have a whole new program and be heading off in a new direction with a solid plan. So I'm looking forward to this week. I got a great week ahead. It's the holiday week here, 4th of July. I don't have work on the books. I'm going to hopefully try and do some surfing, see some friends. I got a potential awesome thing going on the 4th. My oldest friend, who I've talked about many times, my friend who took me to San Diego, and then who came up here and brought his boat up, and we rewired his whole boat. Well, he's about 20 miles away in the San Juan Islands this weekend at his beach house up there, and he had got his boat going for the first time that I wired for him. So he called me yesterday, day before, and said, "Hey, the weather's good Wednesday. Why don't I zip over there and pick you up in the boat and bring you up here and spend the night with us on the 4th? So that would just be a dream come true. I haven't been to the San Juans in a long time. It's hard to get there from here without a boat. It's only 20 miles, but the weather, and it's a big stretch of water. It's big water out there. The Strait of Juan de Fuca can be nasty. So if the weather's flat, we can just zip across. If not, it's a no-go, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I sure hope the weather holds. And if so, I'm going for a boat trip to the islands and a vacation. So that's going to be great. And if not, I'll probably go surfing or go see my folks for the weekend. We'll see what happens. But anyways, I'm going to have a great week, hopefully. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And yeah, so I guess I'll just say thanks as always for listening and watching. Thanks for following along. Thanks for all the great comments, Dean, of all the comments. And I'm not going to say anyone's the best, but boy, I sure really appreciate all of your kind comments, Robin and Mandy and Teresa, Cybercat, and Fran. And oh, I'm not going to remember y'all while I sit here, but I just want you to know that y'all make a difference in my life, and I appreciate every one of you. So thank you very, very much. Oh, you're choking me up a little bit. I guess I'm having a sensitive Sunday. So, okay, I'm going to go move the animals into a new pasture, the cows and sheep. I still don't have a new calf, but hopefully soon. So I'm going to move them, get them squared away, and then I think I might go to town and go look at kick tires on new surfboards or something. All right, you guys, feeling good? Hope you guys are feeling good as well. Have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you guys next week and get y'all caught up on this next phase. So thanks as always for listening and watching. See you soon. Thank you.